can see you many, many times over in good health and in happiness. Thank you. We know that as we celebrate Hanukkah here, I'm reminded of a thought that I said at the Capitol a few days after 9/11 when we came together for a memorial service. And I said that there's a piece of shrapnel in every American heart, but the soul of America is even stronger than our heart, and we will certainly recover. There's a piece of shrapnel in every Jewish heart. And until all of the hostages are released, I heard one of the little girls say, "Bring them home." I say, let them go. They did nothing wrong except wake up as Jews in Israel. And for this, they were killed. They were tortured. They were taken into captivity. They were molested and abused. And their lives and those of their families were ruined, thousands of them. And last year, when the second gentleman was with us, I was asked by the White House whether there will be any family members of hostages here. And I said, there will be thousands, because everyone who will be here is in a sense a family member of a hostage. But I think there are 7 billion family members of hostages, because every decent human being cannot rest while this is going on. And our joy is not complete until we see every single one returned, and those who are alive in good health. I believe that when this menorah was first lit in Lafayette Square, it was done because it was an answer to the call by the Rebbe to increase in Hanukkah celebrations. And my father, from whom we'll soon hear, applied for a permit and was denied. So he went to see someone at the White House who was the domestic policy chief for President Carter at the time, and told him of the dilemma. So he called the Secretary of Interior and he said, look, either you're going to approve this menorah permit or I'm going to go to the president and get your permit for your tree yanked. So I recommend that you do it. The permit was approved. And it was in the middle of the hostage crisis in Iran in 1979, where our fellow American citizens were held. And President Carter, for the first time in I think 100 days, walked out of the White House together with his domestic policy chief, Stuart Eisenstadt, who has since served in so many distinguished government positions. I can't even remember them, but over 50 years he's been ambassador and undersecretary and deputy secretary in various administrations, and is now the chairman of the Holocaust Memorial Museum. And I see sitting next to him is Ambassador Deborah Lipstadt, who was the first Senate-confirmed official of the United States government to combat and monitor anti-Semitism. And I would like actually for Ambassador Eisenstadt, if you wouldn't mind, to stand and wave to everybody so they could say hello. Every year he stands up and sees the big crowd and starts to think about all the trouble he caused back then when he was a little younger and decided to stand up for what was right. Look what you've spawned, thousands and thousands of celebrations that have copied this. I also want to mention that we have a special guest, Mr. Paul Abate, who's the Deputy Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, who has also exerted unbelievable efforts in combating hate and anti-Semitism across America. And he's obviously sitting next to our special guest from the administration, Secretary Mayorkas, who will be introduced shortly. But first, as Jewish people and as Americans, we have to remember that we have with us Aviva Siegel. Aviva Siegel was a hostage in Gaza, and she was freed, thank God. But her husband, Keith, who's a U.S. citizen, is still being held hostage now, today. She's here with her daughter Ilan and her grandchildren, and if she's near the stage, I'd like to have her just come up and say hello for a second, just give a little wave. and then encourage us all to pray for the speedy release soon of her husband.
Okay, I've got 1 minute, so I better be quick. I'm Aviva. I was a hostage in Gaza. I felt it, I saw it, and it should not happen to anybody in the world, and no Jew. I'm standing here for my Keith that is still a hostage, and for all the hostages that are still there. We need to bring them home now. I want to say thank you to everybody that's doing everything they can, and I want the light of Hanukkah to fill all the world, extra light, to bring them all back home. So let's just light the candles, please, this year, because we need it to bring them back home. We need them to stop suffering underneath the ground in Gaza. There's at least 50 hostages that are alive, that are screaming to get out of there and to come out and to be free and to light the candles at home. So let's hope and wish that it's going to happen soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Aviva. I know from working with many of the hostages and their families, the freed hostages and their families, that it's not easy to share remarks, but I hope you'll all learn the lesson that I just learned. Maybe it's not in your program either, but make a minute or two or three. As Aviva said, I'm going to say a few words for Keith. We can all find a few minutes to do what we weren't planning to do and do something to help the effort to make sure that we see them all brought back very, very soon. It is insane that a year after October 7th, we still have to be praying for this. And I hope that those who are holding them will realize that the only human thing to do now is let them go. Points have been made. Darkness has to turn to light. People have to start to understand each other. And whatever your opinion is, we all know that this is not normal. And as a Jew and as a United States citizen, I beg everyone who can do whatever you can do to make sure that those who are holding our brothers and sisters who are innocent, just let them go. It's time. Moses said it to Pharaoh, and we have to say it to whoever we have to say it to until we celebrate their safe return. So you want to know where all of this effort came from. It came from an address by the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Schneerson, our mentor, the mentor of the Chabad Lubavitch movement, who has 6,500 emissary couples in all 50 states and in over 110 countries doing what I'm doing here. And I'd like you to pay your attention to the screens just so we can hear his words that inspired so many wonderful events of light.
Zum Mifzah Chanukah in a Nefen Misuda, da soll rumnehmen, Kol Bote Yisrael, als in jeder jüdische Huis soll sein mehr sein als besser besser mit Bachut. Ihnen von am Mitzvah Nelis, ner Mitzvah Terohei, und in a Nefen von Nesive Heilig mit Jem Lejem.
I hope that in these efforts that we have been somewhat organized, at least. But in making sure Menorah reaches every Jewish home, I want to encourage you, if you're watching, and for those who are here, Go to nationalmenorah.org. Order a menorah kit for yourself, and we will, through the generosity of our supporters, make sure you get one during this Hanukkah so that you could bring the light and warmth into your home, and if you're already celebrating, into the home of a friend. Remember Aviva's message to us. Make a few extra moments and spread the message of light. We now have a special children's presentation. Within Chabad Lubavitch, we have something called Tzivos Hashem. Think of it as a sort of Peace Corps, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and other such institutions, all wrapped into one for mitzvot. The Rebbe said that while children are educated in their young age to do good things, they'll do good things when they're adults as well. The highest rank one child can achieve is 5 stars. A few years back, we prepared a memo for President Obama because we were having they wanted children in the meeting. We didn't know which 2 to pick, so we picked the highest ranking children at the time, and we explained the ranking system, and when he walked in, he addressed the children as general. And if the commander-in-chief of the greatest army, or armed forces, I should say, in the world, addresses these children as general, then I think it's only appropriate that right here at this event, we have them reach their 5-star rank. So our first 5-star general is Mushka Lane. To get to this level, she had to complete assignments, and I think she has completed more than anyone in the history of the organization. And she will receive her 5th star right here. Mushka, you now 5 stars. Mazel tov to you. Your right hand. That's it. We won't take any points off. Thank you very much. And I'd like to call up now the highest ranking boy in Tzivos Hashem, Mendel Raskin, who will receive his 5th star as well. We're grateful for all the community service you've already done, and we all salute you on the acquisition of your 5th star. Mazel tov. We'll be lighting the menorah in just a few moments. We have to hit dusk so that we are in time for the networks who are waiting. So I'd like you to give a warm welcome to our next speaker, Mr. Igor Tolchinsky, who's the founder, chairman, and CEO at WorldQuant, and this year's honorary chair of the National Menorah Council. An immigrant to the U.S. at a very young age, he founded WorldQuant nearly 20 years ago and has more than 1,000 employees in 27 countries. He's a global investor, CEO, innovator, and philanthropist who extensively supports Jewish causes around the world, including ours. I hope you're happy with what you see tonight, Mr. Chairman, and I'd like you to give your attention to Mr. Tolchinsky as he addresses us briefly, after which we will hear from our special guest, Secretary Mayorkas, and we'll light the menorah.
Thank you. Good evening, my friends. Tonight, under the glow of the National Menorah, we celebrate Hanukkah, a festival that reminds us that even the smallest light can dispel darkness. The story of the Maccabees teaches us that faith and courage, even in the most impossible odds, can ignite a flame that burns forever. But this flame is not ours alone. It is lit by God, and we are simply channels to bring His light into this world. It is our calling to share that light and to inspire people to come together. As an immigrant and a refugee, I've seen firsthand how faith and determination can overcome challenges, and I am proud to say that I have experienced the American dream. But I did not make that journey alone. Only by working together and setting aside our differences will we achieve the future we aspire to. Together, let us build an America that delivers on that promise. Here in Washington, in front of the White House, the center of global leadership, we kindle tonight, the light we kindle tonight sends a powerful message. That darkness will never defeat light, and division will never triumph over unity. Let us carry this light with us beyond tonight. May it guide us toward a future of hope, unity, and peace. Thank you, and happy Hanukkah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Tolchinsky. And before, when I mentioned Rabbi Mendy Derin as part of the National Menorah Essay Contest, I neglected to mention that we have members of his family sitting right with us. So thanks for making the trip. Our next speaker is a member of the cabinet, one who has great responsibility for something very important to all of us, the security of our homeland. It's a relatively new government agency, but it is one which directly impacts our community. And I think it's a good time for me to thank him. But before I do that, I would like to welcome him to the stage. Please put it together for the Honorable Alejandro Mayorkas, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. And now I want to thank you, sir, for the efforts we in the community we know that you have exerted for the nonprofit security grants and many other efforts to make sure that we are safe and have help in literally staying alive. So please, Mr. Secretary.
Good evening. Today we begin the celebration of Hanukkah. I draw from the beautiful and profound words of Abigail Bogrebin and Dov Linzer, published just this morning. The glue of the Jewish people for 3,000 years, indeed the key to our survival, despite all those who tried to destroy us, has been the beauty, joy, and rituals of Judaism. We can all benefit from the study of Torah, the mandates to visit the sick, feed the poor, pursue justice, welcome the stranger. There is a yearning for this beauty, this rooted history. We see it in a post-October 7 surge in synagogue attendance, Jewish learning, and communal connection. We can lean into our shared tradition and values as a beacon for what we aspire to. This Hanukkah, let us rededicate ourselves to the light that defines us and the better world we seek to build. On behalf of the President, Dr. Biden, Vice President Harris, and the second gentleman, I wish you all a happy Hanukkah.
Thank you very, very much. We are about to light the menorah, and I don't know what is next for Secretary Mayorkas when this administration ends, but I will say one thing, that with the Jewish knowledge he just exhibited and the talent he possesses, which I unfortunately do not yet, of making very brief speeches, he has a good future as a rabbi. I know many boards who would want to hire him. And now, before we light the menorah, however, we have to remember that just as freedom is not free, nor are events like this, because though we have the rights to perform them and organize them, they are completely privately sponsored. So I'd like to say just a word and then thank our supporters who helped us do this. And first I want to tell my Jewish brothers and sisters here in Israel and around the world, they're once again spewing hate against us. They're torching our synagogues, they're threatening our security. It's no longer a topic or a theory, it's a clear and present danger. Every day. And those who do this will join those who came before them in hate with a similar fate. And we will join ours in a victory of the Spirit. So if I can say something from here in this great assemblage today, it's to be strong and of good courage. Though we are shaken, we've been here before. And one thing we have learned is that with a strong faith and unity, even if we can be hurt, and we sure have been, we are ultimately, literally, an indestructible people. And to our friends of the Jewish people in the larger world community, we are grateful for your support. We pray for you and for your well-being and hold strong hope that you will be resilient in the face of so many pernicious attempts to unsettle you in your support of us. I might add that in addition to the gratitude of the Jewish community that we expressed to the Secretary and to the Deputy Director and to the Ambassador, I think it's important to note that we've done a lot, but we have so much more that needs to still be done. And to address and combat anti-Semitism, if I might say more specifically, because it is different in some ways from other forms of hate and demands a particular focus. And as I expressed at a meeting to which we were invited a few hundred yards behind us just last year, we, the Jewish people, have to worry first about anti-Semitism so that we can be strengthened enough to help others in society who need our support. It's almost like on the airplane where they say, put your own oxygen mask on first, because though you're tempted to save everybody else, you won't be able to if you don't survive. So I am sure that we'll all agree that more needs to be done and we have to redouble our efforts. But perhaps the best antidote and most effective one to combat anti-Semitism is an informed and robust Semitism. When we become stronger in who we are better assured of our continued survival. We don't merely celebrate a military victory of the Maccabees. We celebrate the miraculous rededication of our Holy Temple in Jerusalem over 2,000 years ago. It's about light and purity, more than an armed victory, which was required to reclaim our ability to worship unharmed and unhindered. So try and take this Hanukkah and seek an opportunity to learn more about our rich heritage as Americans and as Jews who are fortunate to live in this great country in the brightest time in our diaspora history. Seek an opportunity to help someone, to teach someone, to share an experience and warmth in someone else's life and with kindness. We must teach the emerging new generation to illuminate, not eliminate, to light the world, not scorch the earth, usher in a time of peace, understanding, and redemption for all of us, all over the world, as the prophets have promised us. Those who helped us make this event possible have shown real dedication as the scope of this activity has really grown. I'd like to thank, and if we can show the logos of the major sponsors on the screens, please, the World Quant Foundation, whose chairman and CEO, as you know, served as the honorary chair for this year's National Menorah Council. Suffolk, which is a major supporter of our efforts here. Chevron, which makes miracles with oil, but also searches for alternative energies. And of course, the Mayberg Foundation, that have been staunch supporters of ours for decades. Let's hear a round of applause for them. I'd also like to thank the Falick Family Foundation, Mark and Nancy Penn, the Pratt Charities, and Dan and Ariane Sachs, Harry Adjmi and family, one who wished to remain anonymous and asked me not to say their name, Yitzhak Hilda Applebaum, Jonathan and Laura Barron, the Daravoff family, Zev and Esty Drizzen, the Epstein family, Choni Hertzgen family, Bill Knapp and Jeannie Milbauer, Thor Equities, Verizon's, who only asked me to say that they love it when people connect. So look at this. Seth and Rivka Weisberg, the Weisberg Family Foundation, and all of you who went to our site of nationalmenorah.org or to jewishwashington.com and contributed. And if you didn't yet, it's not too late. I'm going to say that we're about to light the menorahs. You can tell the lift is in place. We want to thank our three cantors who came to be here with us. Cantor Yitzchak Meir Helfgott of the prestigious Park East Synagogue in Manhattan, Yossi Schwartz from the Parkland Synagogue in Florida, and Yaakov Motzen, who serves as cantor in the Shul of Bal Harbor. They will lead us in the blessings, and I please ask that you rise for the blessings and stay in place afterward until the singing of Oseh Shalom and God Bless America is over. And at that time, we will conclude the program. Thank you very much. Please rise.
Adonai